Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
You guys, thank you for letting me know that this entire segment has been muted so far. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is what happens when we go from home and I don't have my wonderful Guerrilla Sports producers in studio doing their magic. No, that has never happened before. I'm so sorry, you guys. I apologize. I was rambling and going on and on and on and on, and you couldn't hear me at all. I'm back now, and I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about the Denver Nuggets and where everything stands right now. And if you didn't hear me earlier, this is another Guerrilla Sports off-court show. We're going to get very real, very honest, very transparent about where the Denver Nuggets stand. And this is also presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money. Shout out to our friends over at Trusted American. And I'm Liv Moods. That was all the stuff I was saying before that you didn't hear me say. So I apologize about that. Sometimes things slip through the cracks. It is what it is. We're very real, raw, honest on this show, which means sometimes we're going to have hiccups, and we're just going to work through it. But speaking of hiccups, the Denver Nuggets, full of them as of right now, and it's definitely a very frustrating thing to watch, right? We saw a similar thing happened last season where it felt like at the end of the season, they got complacent, they got tired, and their seeding started to be affected because of it. So much so that last year in that San Antonio Spurs game that really shouldn't have mattered at all, mattered a lot. It mattered a lot for the Denver Nuggets. The difference is OKC this year has just sat very comfortably at that number 1 seed, and that's not changing at all. They have been very dominant in the West. But it's very, very interesting, the dynamic that we've got right now as it pertains to the Western Conference. You guys have heard me be very, very transparent about the West and how difficult it was going to be for the Denver Nuggets to compete in the West, just given the level of talent that the Denver Nuggets have stacked against them in the Western Conference. There's so much talent there, and it's been such a tight race outside of that number 1 seed that I mentioned with OKC. It's been such a tight race, so much so that in these last few games of the season, there is a very real possibility that the Denver Nuggets could be a play-in team. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying that because of Miss Negative Nancy Liv Moods, who's very hard to please. No, this is the reality that we're facing here. The Western Conference, 4 through 8, the seeding 4 through 8, which is Denver, the Clippers, the Golden State Warriors, the Memphis Grizzlies, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, all have 32 losses after yesterday's slate of games, okay? So it is, again, a very, very tight race. If the Denver Nuggets fall short against Sacramento on Wednesday, there's a very real possibility that they could be a play-in team. I can't believe I'm even saying this. I cannot believe these words are leaving my mouth, considering the generational talent, the flipping one of the best centers that we've seen play the game of basketball is playing the best basketball he's ever played on a team that could potentially be a play-in team. Now, there were a lot of people on Twitter that got a little upset with my question, and that's all it was simply a question. I just asked a question to the community of X. Are we wasting Nikola Jokic's prime? And believe it or not, there was about 1,200 people that voted on that poll, and most of them said, yes, we are. We are, in fact, wasting the prime of Nikola Jokic, and it's got to effing stop, okay? There was a few people that were a little insulted by that question. Liv, what do you mean? What do you mean, Liv? Well, what I freaking mean is there's a very real chance that the Denver Nuggets, if they fall short on Wednesday to Sacramento, and then just so you know, have the Grizzlies to face on Friday, but if they fall short on Wednesday, they could be a play-in team. There is a very real possibility of this. This is not just me being a hater, okay? I know you guys like to think I'm a hater. I'm a realist. I'm a realist. And what I'm really real about today is the very real possibility that the Denver Nuggets are a play-in team. And just last week, they were sniffing a number 2 seed. Like, what is happening here? Well, what's happening here is the Western Conference is stacked and it's very, very highly competitive. We've known this. But what's also happening here is that there were a lot of games early in the season that Denver just didn't step up and get the job done. That's the facts of the matter. You can be upset about it. Trust me, I was upset about it. But at the end of the day, dropping early games to the Clippers, dropping early games to Washington, yes, the Wizards, when you've got a team this talented with the potential, the very serious, real potential to be a contender, had they all stayed healthy, built some continuity, and showed some consistency, because the consistency part, that's controllable. The uncontrollable variable of this season has been the injuries you've been dealt. You can't control that, and I understand that. I have grace for that, right? Like, I don't expect them to stay healthy. I saw somebody in the comment sections or on Twitter say, like, God, kind of showing frustration, like, oh, and again, there's other reasons I'm sure this person was saying, like, trade Jamal Murray. But the reason in this tweet they said trade Jamal Murray is because he's always injured. Well, that's actually not true. He's actually been quite healthy the last couple of seasons in comparison to, the bubble was tough. And he does battle injuries. This is a physical game. It's expected that their bodies have some wear and tear. That shouldn't be the reason that you trade someone, unless they're like getting to an age and they're riddled with injuries and they're also not showing up for you when you need them to. Then you start having the conversation of, is this person more of a liability than anything else? We actually saw Jamal right before he got injured this most recent time, really firing things up for Denver. The really tough part is he's been unavailable since, so I'm not sure if you get him healthy for the playoffs, what that's going to look like, because we have seen him quite streaky this season. That's the reality. We've seen him pretty streaky this season, right? We've lacked consistency, and so much of the lack of consistency is effort. It's effort. I said the E word a lot at the early stages of this season, and everyone's like, chill, Liv, chill. After the All-Star break, we're going to be heating it up. But listen, the Western Conference has been heated up. The water's been boiling over, okay? So for the Nuggets to then decide post All-Star break, when you're early in the season, oh, we'll fire it up then. Okay, but dropping games to the Clippers and the Wizards is going to hurt you later, and it is right now. We're seeing it happen right now. Because every team fires it up post All-Star break. Every team starts to put their foot on the gas and really have their sights set on a deep playoff run. Every team does that. And the Western Conference was far too tight to be effing around. We did a lot of effing around early in the season, folks. I hate to be the person that says it, but we keep it very real here on Off Court at Guerrilla Sports with Liv Moods. And I'm just going to say it straightforward, straight up. We were effing around a lot earlier in the season. So it is fair for Nuggets fans to say, are we wasting Nikola Jokic's prime? Because number one, and I said this on a show, we're going to have to find that clip. I said this on a show. How dare you show up for a basketball game playing alongside a guy like Nikola Jokic and not give full effort? Are you out of your mind? So while some Nuggets fans wanted to hold on to the fact that, oh, it's just a game, it's a long season, there's a lot of season left. Yeah, you're right. And there's a lot of teams in the Western Conference that are taking every game very super seriously. There's a very real chance that this team could be a play-in team if they drop a game to Sacramento on Wednesday. Can you believe we're saying this? Can you believe we're here? It's insanity. Nikola Jokic, if I'm not mistaken, just last week had a 61-point triple-double, and we're going to be a play-in team. You have a guy like that producing numbers like that on a nightly basis, and this is potentially a play-in squad? You got to be kidding me. You actually have to be kidding me. That is crazy. That is so crazy. So yeah, it's very, very frustrating to be in the position that we're in. And you are not going to get on this show a bunch of like, oh, we're fine. We're not fine. I have not seen anything over the last couple of weeks that makes me think we are fine. Have you turned on a Golden State Warriors game by chance? Have you watched OKC by chance? Do you watch the Minnesota Timberwolves by chance? Because if you do, I don't think there's an ounce of your body that should feel fine with what's going on right now, okay? Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it honest, okay? There's a disconnect somewhere along the lines of this Nuggets team. I'm not going to point the finger at Malone, although I'm seeing some comments doing so. Malone is also to blame for doing too many different things with the lineups. Here's what I'm going to say, Kane, about this. Some of this has been forced upon him because of the injured roster, right? Like, I want to give a little bit of credit to Coach Malone in that way, where if it's not Aaron Gordon, it's Jamal Murray. If it's not Jamal, oops, we're missing Russ for a while. If it's not Russ, we're missing Jokic for a bit, to the baby birth and then to injury. Like, it's been tough. You missed Julian Strother. That was your second unit heater on offense. You missed him for quite a bit of the season. So some of this has been like, the lineups have been interesting, we'll say. And so much of them being interesting has been kind of out of the control of Coach Malone, right? Like, I want to give a little bit of grace there where it's like, this was just a tough year in terms of who was available and who wasn't. Now, the in-game strategy of rotations, now that's where I can be tough on Coach Malone, right? Some of it doesn't feel super strategic. 5 minutes left. The game's not too far away from you when you've got one of the best closers in the game, Nikola Jokic, out there. What supporting cast do you have around him? Is it strategic? Does it make sense, right? As much as I love Russell Westbrook, do I want the ball in his hands in the final seconds of a game where we're down by 2? Probably not, right? Like, I love Russ. That's not my closer. That's not my finisher. That's not my clutch guy. So that's where I struggle sometimes with Coach Malone in those in-game decision-making skills. What does it look like? Are you being strategic? Are you doing things that make sense for what you've got in front of you? You can't control. I talk about the uncontrollables and the controllables. The Nuggets let way too many controllable X factors slip through the cracks that now that coupled with the uncontrollables, it's kind of feeling a bit disastrous at this point in time. I've also said many, many, many times that it starts at the top, right? You're starting to see a very frustrated version of Nikola Jokic, and I worried about this. I really did. I really, really did worry about this. Because for the longest time, Nikola Jokic has been cool, calm, collected, and steady. Steady. Right? He has been steady. He very rarely gets upset, gets super bothered. He keeps it pretty even keel. He shows up, he does his job. It's why so many people and so many players out there, I think, want to play with him and why coaches want to coach him. We're seeing him frustrated. I was watching Altitude just the other night and they cut to a clip of Jokic, and it was a little concerning to me, the frustration that he was showing. Jokic is the kind of guy, I hate to say it, he's the kind of guy that could pack up his bags and go race horses, and I think he'd sleep just fine at night. Okay? One of the things people can't stand about Nikola Jokic is he doesn't make basketball his entire personality. Well, guess what? Without you wanting that, it's happening because you're just that stinking good, okay? That's how people identify. He doesn't identify as that. Basketball is his life, right? We know that. I think that's why people get frustrated with him. Why doesn't he care? It's not that he doesn't care. It's that he's not making his job his entire personality, which, okay, sue him, right? Sue him. He's still the best basketball player in the world, and he doesn't make it his entire personality. Cry about it. I mean, honestly, can you imagine being mad at Nikola Jokic for not making basketball his entire personality and just letting things like roll off his shoulders? While he's simultaneously the best basketball player in the world? What are you worried about? If you aren't a Nuggets fan, I highly suggest you stop pressuring this man to give a F and an S. I'm not going to cuss on this program. Well, that's not true. I have before. Let me not act like this perfect person here. I have said some curse words on this program. But if I'm a non-Nuggets fan, what the F do you look like trying to pressure this man into caring about basketball the same way your other favorite players do, or pressuring him to make basketball his entire personality, or being pressed that he doesn't make basketball his entire personality. Do you watch him play basketball? Do you want him to start do you want him to get to that mode? I don't think you do. Let him be. He's already balling on every team in the NBA. Like, really? If you're not a Nuggets fan, you want that? Okay, be my guest. That seems like a very foolish thing to be asking for. Hey, Jokic, feels like you don't really care about this, man. I feel like you should be in the gym more, getting some more shots up, getting in the gym, getting stronger. Why, if you are not a Nuggets fan, would you want that? Prepare to be scared if that's the case. Honest to goodness. Let the man live. If he doesn't want to make it his entire personality, so be it. But the reason I bring this up is Jokic is seeming pretty frustrated right about now, and for good reason. Now, Jokic also strikes me as the type of person that I'm not doing this. If this is making me this frustrated, it's not worth it. I've got horses that need to be raced and a family that needs some attention. Cool beans. I'm out of here. Like, seriously. So let's stop effing around, Nuggets. Let's get this man some help, for real. It's hard for me to believe I could see him anywhere but Denver, but never say never. I never thought I'd see Luka Doncic in yellow and purple. You know what I mean? So get him some help. You want to see him somewhere else? I mean, for God's sake, that would actually be my worst nightmare. Figure it out. While you've got him, and you've got him cooperating, and you've got him still loving the game, find a way to support him. Show him how badly you care. We talk about him like he's the greatest player in the world. Let's support him like he's the greatest player in the world, right? Get him a better supporting cast. One that deals with fewer injuries. One that's a little bit more reliable, right? I talked on one of my last shows about the fact that if there's any truth to Nikola Jokic applying some pressure to the front office to get Russell Westbrook here, that should show you what he cares about the most. Because Russ, when acquired by Denver, was not this standout player. He wasn't dropping 30 a night. He wasn't lighting it up from the three-point line, okay? He was still turning the ball over. He was still missing shots. If there's any truth to Jokic fighting for Russ being in Denver, that should show you what he cares about the most. Just show up and give me effort. Can we confidently say with our chests that even in losses where some games just get the best of you, right? That's the sport. You can't be perfect every night. There is exhaustion at play here. There's a lot of things that you factor in to losses in a season. No team has a perfect season, okay? So you factor in all the different things. It's part of the game. But can we confidently, with our chest, say that the Denver Nuggets gave full effort all year long? We can't, folks. It's a tough pill to swallow, but we just can't say it. I have always said, because I used to be a coach myself, and I would always tell my dancers, I never, ever expect perfection out of you, but I always expect effort. And if you give me neither, if you're effing up and you're not showing up, and I can tell you're not giving me full effort, you're going to meet a version of me you wish you hadn't, because I don't play with that. There's nothing a coach can do about guys not showing up and giving full effort. Malone can call the play. Malone can sub guys. Malone can have a strategy behind his lineups and his rotation. Malone can practice like hell through the week. But at the end of the day, guys showing up and giving full effort has nothing to do with Coach Malone. Now, what then you could ask, the question that you could ask after that is, well, does he have his locker room? Do they respect this man enough that when he says jump, they say how high? Or does he have a locker room that when he says jump, they say why? Ah! Beg your pardon? Don't ask me why. Just do it. It's a long season. I don't care, quite frankly, actually. I don't care that it's a long season. I know that. You knew that. You signed up for this. You knew it's a long season. Okay? I don't care. Show up. Even with limited effort, there is no reason I could find on this entire planet that would warrant the Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic losing to teams like the Clippers and the Los Angeles Clippers and the Washington Wizards. I'm sorry. Forget about it. You won't ever be able to convince me that that should have happened. Period. Hello? Right? Like, come on. We got to get real about this. There's a large possibility, a very real chance that Denver is a play-in team if they drop to Sacramento on Wednesday. That is terrifying. That can't happen. That cannot happen. You've got the Grizzlies on Friday. And then guess who you have on Sunday? The Rockets. Okay. And every team right now is fighting like hell because nobody wants to be a play-in team. And the race is about this tight. So what do you want? What do you want, Denver? What is the strategy right now, right? Because you're not resting your starters. Had you dropped a game to whoever in the last 4, but your starters are being rested, I'd say, all right. But they're out there. They're playing basketball. So what are we doing? Some serious decisions have to be made in the offseason, and I am so not kidding around. I have tried to come to the defense of the front office for a few too many times now. You got to get Nikola Jokic some help, period. We are not going to keep doing this. I can't. I don't have it in me. I'm a very strong person, okay? I just did core power yoga this morning. I'm strong. You ever done a sculpt class in the heat? Oh, forget about it. Women that do hot Pilates, hot yoga, sculpt classes are training for war, by the way. Seriously. I'm not kidding. I'm a strong person. And I've taken a lot. I've taken a lot from this front office. You let go of my guy Brucey, wasn't cool with it. I let it slide. You let go of KCP, wasn't really cool with it, but I let it slide. Okay? Now the demand by Nuggets Nation, and you owe it to Nuggets Nation to figure out getting Nikola Jokic a little bit of a supporting cast. You understand? Because we're wasting prime at this point. I don't care if that question irritates you, but we absolutely are. We are wasting his prime, and we're going to be sick to our flipping stomachs if one of these days Nikola Jokic just pops out and says, I want to leave. I've got a few years left in me, and I don't want to spend them here because you guys are not taking this seriously, and I want to win a couple more championships. We see players do it all the time. If you're not matching my energy, I'm gone. Bye. The same way it's a business for you, it's also a business for me. See ya. Okay? So we got to get serious in the offseason. I've seen enough. Get Kevin Durant. Not kidding. No, what devastates me about that is if you were to get a Kevin Durant, you'd have to get rid of MPJ, which I think I would recover from that. Christian Brown, oof, I don't know if I'd recover from that. That one would make me very, very, very sad. And then probably a draft pick, okay? But you'd at least have somebody that's got the ball in their hands that you know can make a shot or two and be clutch. When Nikola Jokic has one of the clutchest, coolest passes in the entire world, you know they're actually going to make it, right? The assist will count. Here's the problem, because I agree with you, Noah, but who on this team outside of Nikola Jokic whose stock is up where we can actually get something around Nikola Jokic that will work? Let's be honest with ourselves. I don't want to see a Christian Brown go. I'll be sick to my stomach. But is anybody else's stock really up right now? No! Nobody's stock is up. Everyone's freaking injured. And when they're not injured, they're not playing tough and hard. No team looks at that and goes, oh, I want him. No. Christian Brown's probably the only starter right now. You just signed Aaron Gordon to an extension. Christian Brown's probably the only one that makes sense whose stock is up. I do think some teams will look at Michael Porter Jr. and say, not super consistent, but we could use that size. And when he does shoot the ball well, he's nice with it, right? There's upside there with MPJ. However, outside of him, and I don't even think his stock is up that high, you're going to get the most bang for your buck trading a guy like Christian Brown. Trust me, it makes me sick. It makes me sick to think about it. I can't think about that. You kidding me? It makes me sick. So, what do we do? What do we do? You know, here's the beautiful thing about it. It is not my job to figure out what we do. Okay, it's the truth. Not my job. You got to figure it out on your own, front office. And I'm telling you, depending on how you move in this offseason will be very telling. And I think you ought to move very carefully this offseason, because I think a lot of people are going to be watching you like a hawk, figuring out what are you going to do about this hot mess express called the Denver Nuggets. Come on. You got to do something. This funny business we've been messing around with, miss me with it. I'm done, right? I'm finished. So, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Honcho, you got a point. Like a lot of logistical things to figure out here when it comes to acquiring a guy like KD. But my whole point in that is just something's got to happen. You got to get somebody. Doesn't even have to be somebody's. You got to get somebody. Because the people that you thought could be somebody this year have either been injured and unavailable or streaky. Whoops. It's the truth. It's so the truth. Wow. Nothing but truth bombs being dropped on this show at all times. Forget about it. You want sugarcoating weirdo stuff? Get out of here. That's boring, and it's not me. Get out of here. We keep it real. We keep it honest. And the honest to gosh truth of it all is, we lose on Wednesday, forget about it. There is a chance this team is a play-in team. Can you imagine? You guys think you've seen me irate before? You think you've tuned into post-game live reaction shows where I was super ticked off and peeved? Oh, you wait. Oh, you wait until the Denver Nuggets are a play-in team with Nikola Jokic. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. As if. Please, don't mess with me. I'm not in the position. I can't do it. So yeah, Wednesday will be very telling, you guys. Wednesday will be my hair looks so stupid. I'm so sorry, guys. Wow. Again, real, honest, raw, authentic. Oh no. What does it sound like I'm doing? It sounds like you're calling for a complete overhaul of the team for one player, which is against everything the Nuggets have predicated their success on and reeks of super team nonsense. No, I never said that. I don't need an overhaul. But you got to make moves. Anybody that thinks no, anyone that thinks that moves don't need to be made and we just need to put our head down and stay focused. This is 2 seasons now where I'm seeing the same sort of issues going on, which is just this very like beboppy, lackadaisical, woo, long season, no worries, we're good. Like what who told you that? Who told you you're good? Who told you that? Who told you dropping games to the Wizards was appropriate behavior? Come on. We got to start getting down to it here. You want to win a championship, you got to move like a business, just like everybody else. We have to free ourselves from the chokehold of the 2023 championship season. I'm sorry. We have to. Because guess what? While we're standing still and making very few movements, everybody else around us is making moves and getting better. So, hello. You know what I mean? Every year the game evolves. Every year the business evolves. It's no different than 2 years ago. If you weren't living and dying by the 3, it didn't matter. That wasn't the game. But it is now. It is now. And we talked a few weeks ago. At that point in time, when the Nuggets made 15 or more threes in a game, their record was 15-5. The proof is in the pudding. ladies and gentlemen, okay? We've got to make some changes in the offseason. It's that simple. I understand all of the players that were involved in the 2023 championship, but this seems to be a problem that the front office has, and it's a loyalty issue that goes back to that season. You got to let go of that at some point. Yes, they did a lot for you. Yes, we're so thankful for those players, but every team around the Nuggets is making moves to beat the Denver Nuggets. So now the Denver Nuggets have to level up. It's time to level up and figure it out, right? Because the Timberwolves played against you in the playoffs. They saw what you were capable of. They made the appropriate moves. And look at what has happened because of it. Free yourself from the shackles of 2023. I am begging you to do so. Have to. Have to. Trust and believe. I will remember that year for the rest of my life. I loved that year. Fantastic. But the game is evolving, the business is evolving, and the Nuggets have been standing still ever since they won it all. Stop it. We can't be doing this anymore. Make some moves. Get somebody outside of Nikola Jokic that you know when the ball is in their hand, they're not missing. You know? Honestly. You got to make moves. You got to make moves. 3-and-D, right? We lost that with KCP. You'd like to think MPJ can be the 3-and-D guy, but he hasn't been that this year. The defensive effort from MPJ has been abysmal. You had an opportunity to trade before the deadline, and you didn't. You know what I mean? This is why I say what I say about free yourself from the shackles of 2023. You have to. You have to. We can't keep the game, and the game is evolving. The teams are evolving. Everyone's evolving around us, okay? And the Nuggets are standing still. We do have a couple of things to play for you before we get out of here. I want to toss to some post-game presser conversations that were had following the loss last night to the Pacers. We'll start with Coach Malone, debrief a little, and then we've got Christian Brown, who I just was talking about. Don't want to see him go, but do think his stock is up the highest if the Denver Nuggets decide to make moves in the offseason. We've got CB, and we'll also hear from the greatest player in the world, Nikola Jokic. So first, let's tune in and check out what Coach Malone had to say after last night's loss.
Coach, feels like you guys get used to having the Murray Jokic actions down the stretch. What happened with some of the turnovers?
Yeah, I think in the only 13 for the game, but I think 6 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, just unfortunate. And I was just telling Russ, I got him out. I thought Russ was great tonight, and he'd run a long stretch. I got Jalen back in the game. Then I had that inner conversation, hey, I got to get Russ back out there. And then Jalen did a few things, but really costly turnovers at a key stretch of the game. And we've become so accustomed to seeing us execute and make big shots and get the right shot. And obviously we just didn't have that tonight. Quarters 2 and 3, we guarded nobody. You give up 37 and 37. That's problematic. And obviously we go 8 of 31 from 3. They make 15. The three-point line was a big part of tonight as well. But, you know, I'll start with me. You know, we've lost 4 games in a row, and I'm never going to this guy, that guy. How about me as a head coach, you know, not doing my job to the best of my ability? And that's what I challenge over our guys. You know, we haven't lost 4 in a row in a long time. And it's really easy, you know, to be together and say family when you win. But when you're losing games, can you stay together? And do you have the balls, do you have the courage to go home and look in the mirror and say, what can I be doing better to help this team? And Sacramento, Memphis, Houston, no one's going to feel sorry for us. And so we put ourselves in this hole, and we only have ourselves to pull ourselves out of it. And I look forward to seeing how we respond. Three-point line. Yeah, I mean, Obi Toppin, you know, he had a hell of a game. Naismith hits 3, Obi hits 4, Turner hits 4, Walker off the bench hits 3. I mean, so I would say that's 2 games against Tyrese Halliburton. Not only did we hold him down, but game 1 he had 11 field goal attempts. Tonight he had 8 field goal attempts. But he had 15 assists in game 1 and 13 tonight. We had some defensive breakdowns in our rotations that proved to be costly in a lot of those. And you just can't have those. We just had some costly mistakes at inopportune times that were just too much to overcome.
At the end of the day, it sounds like the same issues keep playing on repeat, right? Whenever we hear from Coach Malone following a loss, it's the same thing every time. It's the same thing every time, right? It's defense. It's costly turnovers. The word costly jumps out to me. Can't have it. Can't have it. If they're costly now, they're going to be real costly in the playoffs. And I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this comment because, you know, it is true. Lakers Nation was very transparent. Hey, Liv, you know, Westbrook's got his flaws, you know, wait till the playoffs. I understand that. And I understand I would not classify Russell Westbrook in this era of his career as a clutch player. But the Nuggets also shouldn't need him to be that. You understand? Because I think part of the Lakers' problem was they didn't know how to utilize Russ and play to his strengths. So Lakers fans just ran with this very stupid, airheaded narrative, which was Russell sucks. No, we're going to cut that crap immediately out because that's just not even flipping true. Okay? He does not suck. You got to find ways to utilize Russell Westbrook for his strengths and avoid his weaknesses, right? He's still going to make mistakes. He's not perfect. He's not in his prime. But Lakers fans got this very jaded and weird idea that Russell Westbrook's horrible. No, he's not clutch, right? But he shouldn't have to be for the Denver Nuggets when you've got Nikola Jokic out there and Jamal Murray. Shouldn't have to be clutch, right? Shouldn't, technically speaking. And the Lakers just didn't know how to use him. Like, let's call it what it is. So while I agree with this comment somewhat, I also don't agree with it at all in the sense that Westbrook being a winning player, it shouldn't all fall on one guy to win a basketball game. In that Timberwolves game, yeah, he made a big oopsie. Yeah, he did. Not happy about it. But they were also up by 16 points and dropped that. Can you blame one guy for that? Nope, certainly can't. Certainly can't. Let's play one more clip. One more clip. If you want to see Christian Brown, we have that up on our YouTube. All of the post-game presser interviews that we have through all sports will always live on our YouTube. We do post them on socials as well. So make sure you are constantly following Guerrilla Sports on socials as well as subscribing to our YouTube. All of our content lives there. You can get exclusive interviews from players. Our Colorado Avalanche team does a phenomenal job at getting you guys exclusive stuff over there. All of my post-game shows, all of my regular shows, as well as all of our post-game presser content exists on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed to the Guerrilla Sports YouTube, make sure you do that. So if you want to catch CB's thoughts following after last night's loss, you can check those out on our YouTube. But for now, let's wrap things up with a clip from the one, the only Nikola Jokic on his thoughts after last night's L. Let's check it out.
I mean, it's always when you lose, it's bad. When you win, it's good. I think in every locker room. So we lost 4 in a row in a bad moment. So I think we're a little bit down, but I think the win can always cheer us up or make us feel better about ourselves. Is this Mike? Don't turn the ball over. We need to be organized. Try to make a find the quality look. I think that just have a decent game in sense of not many mistakes if it's possible.
How much more do you feel his absence in those late game situations where you don't kind of have the command game identity?
Yeah, just the guy who can score. I think you can see through the league. I think the wings are the guards are the guys that have handling the ball and kind of making a decision and scoring the ball. So, it's and he's the one who's always who took and make big tough shots. So we definitely miss him.
Oh no. Whoa. Hate it. Hate what we just saw. It really does appear like he's just frustrated. He's frustrated and he has every reason to be. Really quickly, Huncho, I appreciate your comments. I actually believe you were the one last time that said I was a woman and didn't know basketball and had no knowledge, but I appreciate you being back here. Clearly you thought I did have knowledge because you returned. And I love that for both of us. You do make a great point. Westbrook's salary at the time with the Lakers was a lot higher than it is with the Nuggets. And again, I do go back to the fact that you do have to learn how to use your guys. Like some of this does fall on Los Angeles, and there's a lot of it that does fall on Russell Westbrook. Okay, I get that. However, this is then the follow-up that I say for the here and now. Russ is not on a $50 million contract. So if the expectation by Nuggets Nation specifically is that Russell Westbrook is going to save this organization, you've got the wrong guy. That wasn't ever what his role should have been on this team, ever. It requires everybody to show up and do their job and make an impact in order for Russ to be utilized the way he needs to be utilized. If you need him to be the savior and save the game, unfortunately, I don't think that that's ever going to happen here. So again, totally see your point, Huncho. I also agree with this comment as well. He's not a $50 million guy anymore. The Nuggets know what they were getting out of Russell Westbrook, and I do think he does a pretty good job of bringing what the Nuggets were so desperately missing, which is that energy, that hustle. That being said, he's not perfect. There's still mistakes that are made. Totally, totally fair. But there is value in Russell Westbrook being on this team. It's now just finding all the other pieces around that make sense, that are compatible. And it just feels like there's a large disconnect right now on this team. So it's a tough position to be in. Like I said, very real chance and possibility that this Nuggets team is a play-in team if they drop on Wednesday to Sacramento, because then they've got the Grizzlies on Friday and the Houston Rockets on Sunday, neither of which will be easy wins by any means. So very important that the Nuggets start figuring some stuff out. Got to figure it out. Okay, well, that is all from me today. Thank you guys tons and tons and tons for tuning in on a Monday with me. This has been another Guerrilla Sports Off Court, and I've been your host for today, Liv Moods, and we will have a post-game live reaction show following Wednesday's game. Woo! Hopefully we will see some progress being made and the Nuggets can get the job done. That being said, I'm not going to hold my breath necessarily, but it's getting cutthroat. It's getting down to the wire, and we knew this was going to happen given how stacked the Western Conference is. So this has been presented by Trusted American Mortgage. You can head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money, getting you a better interest rate, lowering your monthly payments. Shout out to our friends over at Trusted American. This has been another Guerrilla Sports Off Court. I have been your host for today, Liv Moods, and we'll be back, like I said, with another post-game live reaction show Wednesday night following their game against Sacramento, and then we'll also have another off-court show 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time on Thursday. So thank you guys tons for tuning in. We'll see you Wednesday night. Make sure you're subscribed to the Guerrilla Sports YouTube and also following us on all things social to keep up with all of our content this week. Much love to you guys. We'll see you very soon. And go Nuggets.